Hello Stampers, Kelly Acheson at stampinUp.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today for the Color Fusers blog hop, we were challenged to make cards using shaded spruce, cherry cobbler, mint macaron, and gold foil paper. And I think I've done pretty well with this challenge. I decided to use the Spirited Snowman stamp set. This is just a cute little stamp set in our holiday mini catalog. And I've made two cards here. I'm going to show you how to make one of them, and then I'm going to talk about the other one at the end of the video. This is a moving card. Super cute, right? So let's get started and I'll show you how to make this. I like to bring in my cardstock layers first, and I have a piece of cherry cobbler. This is 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. I am just going to burnish that edge. And then I've got two pieces of Whisper White. They're both 4 by 5 1/4. I've got another piece of cherry cobbler that's 2 by 5 1/4. A piece of our shaded spruce that is 7/8 by 2 5/8. A piece of gold foil that is 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. And then I've die cut one of our stitched shape framelits. And this square is actually 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. I'm going to bring in my piercing mat. I like to use these to stamp on. I just wrap them with a piece of printer weight paper to protect them so I don't get ink all over the actual piercing mat. The first thing I'm going to do here is we are going to use the Buffalo Check background stamp. This is just an awesome stamp for the backgrounds of your cards. I'm going to show you a neat little technique with it. And when you use these big background stamps, you should leave them laying on your surface. We're going to bring our cardstock to the background stamp versus putting it on a big block and trying to stamp with it. That has never been successful for me with these big backgrounds. It always works better to ink it up on your surface so you can see what's going on here. I'm using the mint macaron ink. And then we're going to bring our cardstock to the stamp. Now, this is a definite pattern, so you want to do your best to get this on here as straight as possible. Then I just grab a piece of paper and lay it on here so I don't get ink all over my hands from the rubber stamp that's exposed under my cardstock. Does that make sense? Like all around the edges here. I don't want all this ink that's transferring to get on my hands. And you're going to use a nice flat hand to transfer the ink to your paper. And isn't that just really pretty? You can have a plaid gingham pattern in any color you want with this background stamp. Now I'm going to do something that's kind of fun. I'm going to bring in my cherry cobbler Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to, my cherry cobbler Stampin' Blend. This is our alcohol marker. And I am going to use a ruler, and I'm going to draw some lines in our plaid. And notice that I'm starting before my cardstock starts and ending after my cardstock stops. And that'll give you nicer lines than if I were to start here. You see how you get kind of a blob there and a little trail off here? You don't want to just start on the cardstock. Start before it and go after it. Now you could do as many colors with this particular technique as you'd like to add, and you can make your gingham or plaid look really colorful. Now I've got enough of that color. Now I'm going to come in with the shaded spruce. And remember, this was my challenge, was to use cherry cobbler, shaded spruce, mint macaron, and gold foil paper on this card. Now we're allowed to add the neutrals, white, crumb cake, basic black, very vanilla, to our projects, but we have to stick with these colors that are listed in the challenge. And this is always a good challenge because what I do when I start this challenge is I get out my ink pads, I set them in front of me, and then I start thinking about what I'm going to make. Isn't that just neat? Such a neat looking background. Okay, next we're going to do a little work with this square, and I'm going to stamp my snowmen. Now, the reason this card came about was because I needed an anniversary card, and I thought this little snowman and snowwoman were perfect for a winter anniversary card. They're hugging, they look like they're in love. I'm just going to color in the image here. And again, I'm using the Stampin' Blend markers. This is Cherry Cobbler Dark. And then I'm going to come in with the lighter color and blend this a little bit. So it's just going to have a real dark highlight around the outside. And you want to keep coloring until you blend the marker lines in, and that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to continue to color my snow woman. I like that we have two ends. We have a big coloring end, and then we have a more detailed end for the smaller items. Here's my shaded spruce. I'm going to do these little holly leaves on her hat. Then I'm going to come in, here's my light shaded spruce. I wanted to do just a little bit of the dark cherry cobbler down here on the end of her scarf. And last but not least, we have light and dark basic black, and I'm going to use the lighter color. I don't want to cover up the definition in my snowman's hat, meaning the stamped lines that outline his hat, so I chose to use the lighter of the two black colors so you can still see the stamped lines on his hat. Don't tell anybody I'm using pumpkin pie for that nose, but you gotta have a snowman nose, right? Okay, now we're gonna assemble our card. Oh, we have one more thing to stamp, and that's this little piece right here. And I'm going to use shaded spruce ink on, shaded spruce cardstock. And I've got Love Never Melts. And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle here. Oh, I did pretty good. That's always tricky, right? When you've got just a little piece. And then we've got these really nice little snowflakes. And I'm just going to stamp a few of these on this layer. Maybe one more right there. That looks great. I don't want to overwhelm it. Okay, now we're ready to put this together. I'm going to put my snowman square on first. Got a very thin border around the three sides here with the gold foil paper. So I want to make sure that I have the same border with this layer. You'll find all the dimensions and a shopping list for this card on my blog right here. So you can go, at the end of the video, I'll have a link where you can click in the corner and go to my blog. Also, under the video on YouTube, you will find a link directly to this particular blog post, and that's always nice too. Okay, we have the triple banner, or the banner triple punch. I always want to call it the triple banner punch, but it's the banner triple punch. We're going to punch out this cherry cobbler layer, And I'm going to attach my plaid to the front of my card. Then we're going to put this little banner on. I want to just make sure that I've got that centered. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this layer. Oops, I got two there. Oh well. Kind of followed the other one. If you put your fingernail in the middle of these dimensionals, it pops the edge up and it'll make it easier for you to get that backing off. It's a little tip we learned like a million years ago at one of the Stampin' Up conventions, and it was like mic drop. Everybody just gasped because it was such a huge tip. Okay, this is looking great, right? I have one more thing to do to the front of the card. I want to bring my tea room combo ribbon in, and I'm just going to make a double bow. This is a bow jig. If you've never seen me before, then you might be new to this. It's nothing more than 1 inch apart. There's holes in a piece of wood. This is 1 inch, and then ½ inch, ½ inch, 1 inch, ½ inch, ½ inch. So you've got 1 inch in the middle and half on all the others. You put some nails in them and you can make all different sizes of bows. I do have a friend that makes these bow makers, but she is gone for the winter. So if you are interested in getting one from me in the spring, you'll have to email me then and tell me that you'd like information on this, and I will get you in touch with my friend Denise because her husband makes these and they're pretty sweet. All right, mini glue dot. I think this bow just really sets this card off. It was like the final touch that I needed. There we go. Cool front, right? Now let's get that inside done. I've already stamped the little snowman here that looks like he's celebrating. And I'm just going to color his little boots in. Is this the lighter? No, this is the darker black. I want to use the lighter black alcohol marker. And then I'm going to stamp my greeting. And because I wanted an anniversary card, I took the beautiful bouquet stamp set and I used this gorgeous little greeting, wishing you a day of love and happy memories. And then there's a happy anniversary in there. There we go. Perfect little card for a winter anniversary. I love the hugging snowmen on the front, right? And there we go. I think I have fulfilled the requirement of the color challenge. And then I made another card, and I actually featured this one last night on my blog. So you'll find a video showing you how to make this. But again, I used the plaid. I put it on crumb cake cardstock with cherry cobbler ink. And then we've got this little snowman, a greeting, winter cheer. And I made this a birthday card. And look at the snowman moves with the inside of the card. Isn't that cute? Okay. On my blog, you'll find a link to take you to where the details are for this card. Like I said, it was featured in a video yesterday that you'll be able to check out if you'd like. Great cards, perfect for this color challenge. Get yourself the new Buffalo check if you don't have one. You're gonna love it for so many different things. And then we've got the Spirited Snowman set that's also in the Holiday Mini Catalog. Both of these items are in there. So you don't want to wait on them. Mini Catalog is over, I believe, January 4th. If you'd like to place an order, you can click right up here in the corner. That'll take you to my blog. Please use this host code if your order's under $150. If it's over $150, don't use it. You'll get special perks from me both ways. Click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't want to miss anything I have coming up. Thanks for watching my video today. Make sure you go back to my blog and join in on this blog hop and see what everybody else made with this color combination. I always find that very fascinating because the spectrum of projects is fantastic. Thanks for spending a little bit of your time today with me. Bye-bye.